Hey y'all, I'm Ali. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. I get asked a whole lot what the silver thing next to my sink is. Well, today I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what that is, but I also want to tell you kind of a story behind it and some information on, well, I'll give you a little lowdown, but this is called a Berkey water filter. A lot of people that live homesteading or off-grid or van conversion lives have these filters. They've been around since the early 2000s and a lot of people have them. They run, this size that I have is about $500. And what is awesome about them is that this is a stainless steel container and it has filters that you purchase that last for like 4 or 5 years. They go per gallon. So there's these giant black carbon filters that sit inside of it and it filters your water out. They, like I said, only have to be changed. I can't remember how many gallons it is, but basically they last forever. Well, maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I caught wind. I follow some stuff about, kind of off the wall stuff. Anyways, I heard that the EPA was going to be putting a stop to Berkey making the filters. Not because there's anything wrong with the filters, but because of some of the claims that they were making of what the filters could do. And you guys can do some research on it if you are interested. It was a whole lot of hoopla. They sell them in other countries still. They just can't make them in the US because of the regulations here. You guys know what I mean. Anyways, so I was saying in one of my recent videos, maybe 6 months ago, that I was so disappointed because I was on my last set of Berkey filters and I didn't know what I was going to do because they're not making them anymore. One of you guys from Canada even said, I will ship you filters. The cost was astronomical. And so I started looking into alternatives. But one of you guys mentioned, hey, did you know that Berkey kind of figured out a loophole and has a sister company that's now creating their same filters? Yeah. So I dug right into it. The company is called Boroux. Hey, does this look oddly familiar? Very, very similar to the Berkey. Am I wrong? I mean, y'all. So I reached out to Boroux. It's spelled Borough. You say it Borough. But I reached out to them and I said, hey, I have a lot of people asking about our Berkey. I hate mentioning it at this point because it's not fair to them to purchase one if you're not going to be able to get filters for it, la, 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 la. I said, I would love to be able to try your product out and tell my people about it. So I waited months and months to hear back and they said, hey, we'd love to send you one. Try it out. Let us know what you think and share it on your channel. Y'all, we got this in the mail. Now, I will say I've had my Berkey for like 5 or 6 years, so I don't exactly remember the unboxing, but I do remember how to set it up. I remember, the basics. So when I got this one and I opened the package, I was sitting here going, are you kidding me? Like, it's the same thing, y'all. It's the same. So, I told them when I said, hey, yeah, I would love to test it out. I said, I'm going to be pretty critical because I love my Berkey. I've had it for a long time. It's a kitchen staple. With where we live, we get frozen pipes. We lose water often. And so I need something that will work in these instances. Because I've had other water companies reach out to me and they're always electric plug-in type filters. I'm not into that, you guys. So I love my Berkey. So when Borough reached out, I was like, okay, let me do some research before I just jump in and say, heck yeah. So I wrote a couple things down. So Borough is basically a sister company in a sort. So their own independent company, but the people, if you were told that you can no longer make your product and you were a little ticked, would you find a loophole? Well, that's what happened. So let me see. They're the same. Okay, so the filters was the biggest concern that the EPA had. So when Borough started making their filters with the help of this other brand, they made different claims. So of the capabilities of the filter. And so they were allowed to basically make them exactly the same. The claims just changed. So the EPA compliant filter, wait, what did I say? It's an EPA compliant filter, not what was used, but the claim. Oh, okay. What am I talking about, you guys? I can't read my own writing because I write like a doctor. So it's the same formulation. It's just that the claims are different. And so Boroux does not claim that it can filter out microorganisms. That's the only big difference. So I wanted to give you guys kind of a side-by-side, not only of the exterior, but as well as the filters and some of the accessories, because I'm telling you guys, one of the things I really appreciated with Boroux, a lot of people that reach out and say, hey, we'd love you to do a video on our product. They say, we want you to do it within 3 to 4 days. I'm like, bro, I cannot tell you an honest opinion of a product in 3 or 4 days. Like, really? Buyer's remorse can set in real quick, right? So I'm really, really careful about who I work with. Well, Borough said, we'll give you 45 days. So I have been testing this thing. And if you go back and look at our videos, we've had one on each side of our sink. And we've had this going for 45 days. So when I did the unboxing, things I found similar and things that I found different. So the top canister, well, the top half of the filter is exactly the same. It's the same shape. The label or the manufacturer name is on the front of it. It's still stainless steel. This one has a little bit of a brushed look to it, but I kind of appreciate that because this one, honestly, if I get really close to it, it gives me like, what is the mirrors at the carnival that make you look kind of funky? That one does that effect, and this one does not. So this keeps you a little more normal looking, like you don't have a long chin. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing. So the lids are a little bit different. So Berkey lid is basically just a disc and it has a handle on the top. The Borough one is flat. It's like kind of bumped out a little bit and it has this little tab on the side that you just lift up when you need to use it. They're kind of, they're not dirty. It's like where your hand touches it. But this one sits inside very nicely. It keeps it super clean. This one sits over the top. I haven't really noticed a difference either way on those. So let's take the tops off. When it came to this part of it, they both have basically the same setup. Let me see if I can hold both at the same time. They look the same, right? They have the same little white caps if you're not using the other filters. They have very similar, I mean, dude, they're the same. Like, come on. The filters themselves, let me see if I can turn it to where you can see in there. Usually there's a tiny bit of residual water. I did dump it out just to be careful. If you're looking inside, the filters, y'all, they're the same. They're the same. They look the same. They act the same. They filter the same speed. Like really, there's no difference. So the bottom part, they're the same height. They're the same width. They're identical. They both came with the little rubber gasket at the bottom. The biggest difference is the Berkey one is just black circle all the way around. This one does have a little dip. You can't really see it. That fits underneath where your water spigot goes. This one kind of just bumps into it. Something else that was interesting that we've noticed, Berkey, when I got it, I don't know if it's changed, comes with a plastic spigot. I paid, I think it was $25 to upgrade it to the stainless steel version. I did that a couple years ago, but it does come with a plastic one. Borough comes with the stainless steel included with it originally, so there is no plastic filter on it. You can upgrade and get this little gauge that tells you how much water is in here. Berkey does have that as well. I never opted to pay for it because I just kind of peek in and see how much water is in it. Now that I have this though, and it does come with an extra float ball and this little cap comes off, so if you ever need to fix it, you can. But I'm liking having this as an option now. But overall, you guys, these things perform the same. They look the same. And what I thought was interesting is I was really convinced that I was gonna be able to taste a huge difference. And the very first day I was like, ooh, you can tell that this one's a little bit different. But what I forget is that these have been running for a while. And you know, brand new filters, they always have kind of a funky little off thing for a couple days. Now that they've been running consistently, I can't tell the difference, you guys. The water comes out of the Boroux a little bit faster. The spigot, or whatever you call this, I'm calling it a spigot. This one works a little bit better than my Berkey one. That's just me. But you guys, what I thought was interesting, let me show you one other thing. When you get these, you have to prime the filters. I had to watch videos on how to do that originally. So this one is a little bit worn out because, like I said, it's like 6 years old. This is the one that came with my Berkey. This is the one that came with my Borough. Same thing. They're the same thing. So this is how you are going to prime those. Borough came up with this, and I tried it. It's a different, so basically, I can't do it on my kitchen sink because of the kind of faucet that I have. But if I go into my bathroom, I slide this over my faucet in my bathroom, and you can prime using the end of this. So this is something that Borough came up with to make it a little bit easier. I honestly am a little bit more used to the old style, so I had a hard time using this, but that's just because I've used that a million times, so I knew what to do with it. The other thing I thought was interesting, Berkey never came with this, but Borough did. It came with red dye to do the red dye test. The red dye test is where you put basically diluted red water in the top of each one, and you run water through it. You put mason jars under the filters instead of having it filter into the bottom, and it tells you if your filters are cleaning things correctly, if it's filtering stuff out. But I didn't open theirs, I used my own, and they both work great. I'm just super impressed. The other thing that I find very interesting is if you have a Berkey and you're like, this thing is basically gonna be useless when my filters run out, they're not, because these filters will fit in your Berkey. So for those of us that were panicking, you don't have to anymore, you guys. Price-wise, this one is very, very similar to the Berkey. The filters, like I said, are very similar to the Berkey. They're basically the same. Kind of interesting, you guys. I just had to share this with you guys because, like, originally I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna try this out, and I'll probably end up sticking with my Berkey because, like I said, I'm a tried and true Berkey fan. Now that I've tried this, you guys, Shawn's already saying, like, we're gonna build a better stand or a different stand. They don't come with stands, so they just sit on your counter. But he's gonna build a stand so that we can put one for drinking water one place and one over. So Shawn is saying that he is gonna build a stand that we are gonna set one of these on more for drinking water purposes, somewhere else in our kitchen to free some of our counter space back up. And then we will still keep one on the kitchen counter that is gonna be for our cooking. Like we cook with a lot of the water from these instead of from our faucet. Is there anything wrong with our faucet water? Depends on who you ask. You look for your area. If you're on a well, it's one thing. If you have municipal water, do some research. It's up to you. I'm more comfortable drinking out of my Berkey or now on my Borough, but you do you, like we always say on the channel, right? So how do I use these? Like I said, Shawn's gonna build me a stand, but okay, so they sell a metal stand. I didn't love the look of it. So years ago, I invested in a plant stand, you guys. So these plant stands, I think I got this one originally at Walmart. They don't sell this exact one, but basically you can get them on Amazon as well. It stretches out or goes in, so it will hug around your filter or water filter without any issues. So let me slide that out of the way. Ugh. So I just got my plant stand. The one that I have now, and this is for selfish reasons, this is the one Walmart sells now. It's a little bit lighter wood and it's not as tall. See how it sits just a little bit lower? Snobby me, my cup doesn't fit under it as well if I use this one, so I like this one better, but you do you. So basically all you do is set this down in that little groove, and that is what you guys see on my counter in all my videos. Usually I keep one right next to my sink. I'm good to go. But I need to get some stainless steel cleaner because it does show fingerprints, but my Berkey has always done the same thing. To fill it, all that I do, you guys, is I used to have a faucet that I could run up into the top of this and I would just do it that way. Now I just fill a pitcher. It holds about 3 gallons of water. And so I do 3 pitchers of water in it, usually 1 to 2 times a day. And we use it for our coffee water. We use it for cooking. We use it for, we have an ice machine that sits on our counter. Sometimes you may have seen, we use it for that. But especially for drinking water. We don't buy plastic water bottles. We have, of course I don't have one in here. I have a Yeti cup with a straw, and forever I would use that, and Shawn was still using a plastic bottle, and he finally was like, okay, I will try your Yeti idea. So we just have those. I know a lot of people like Stanley's. Not a fan, it's too big. But so we have those, and we just refill them multiple times a day, and that's what we do so that we don't have, the consumption issue with plastic. But I'm so impressed, you guys. That was my little spiel. I'm so impressed because, like I said, I was a Berkey tried and true. I've had other water companies reach out to me. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. But Boroux has been fantastic to work with. The packaging, the way that it came to me, it was in this cool like canvas bag. It came with like all the instructions on how to do it. They're a really, really good company, and they're really standing up to my expectations behind some of the brands that you pay for. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed our little video. If you have any questions about or own a Berkey and you have questions about the Borough filters or a new system yourself, we have a link below. It will take you to their website. You can check out they have lots of videos on how they're not affiliated with Berkey, but you can watch the videos to understand what I mean when I say that. You can, they have different sizes, just like, my favorite thing, and I almost did this, but I really wanted a very similar thing to show you guys. They do have different colors. So they have a white one that is beautiful. They have a black one. It's a matte black. And you guys, you don't even know how bad I wanted that one. And it doesn't even match my kitchen, but the thing is gorgeous. Like if you have a minimalist or clean looking kitchen, that thing is incredible. So you should go check it out. Anyways, spiel over. But if you need a water filter, or you are like me and we're worried about the whole Berkey situation, go check them out, you guys. You won't be disappointed. We have not been at all. So keep an eye out, and yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.